It's Emily from Team Discraft Underground, and this is my 2022 in the bag. So off the bat, I use the Grip AX5 bag, the turquoise, because it's my favorite color ever. But the bag is super functional as well. It's lightweight, it's easy to handle, there's tons of storage and extra storage compartments in the bag. Of course, I gotta represent with my Yuli patch and of course a sparkly donut corgi pin, because why not? So we'll start off with my approach discs. So I have a couple different approaches that I use. You'll see a lot of these have dies on them. Dyeing has been my winter hobby, so that's the reason for all the different color throughout my bag. I have a Crystal Fierce that I use for that straight to understable approach with very minimal fade. It's a super reliable disc. I love this in all sorts of different conditions. If I need a turnover approach, anything like that, this is a super great disc, and I love this crystal plastic. My favorite approach disc, of course, is the Zone, using the Tour Series Earhart Zone. I just love the feeling of the Zone in my hand. It's super easy to control, to hold on to, and I just love being able to use it forehand, backhand. So this is definitely what I'm reaching for most of the time for my approaches. I do have two different plastics of my ringers. So I have the Glow Ringer as well as the Pro D Ringer. The Pro D Ringer is a little bit more beat in. It's super straight to understable, whereas the Glow Ringer, again, is super straight, but it'll have a little bit more fade on the end if I need to. If I put it on a hyzer, it'll hold that hyzer line. So these are both super useful molds to have in my bag. Next up, I have my mid-ranges. So I have a couple different mid-range molds in my bag. I have my Big Z Comet as my understable mid-range. This thing will flip up to flat, glide forever. If I throw it flat, it has a great turn to it. I really enjoy this disc as my understable mid-range. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I have my overstable mid-range, which is my Hornet. This thing is a dump truck and I absolutely love it. It's an ESP Hornet, but this thing is exactly what I need when I'm looking for an overstable mid-range. And then for my straight mid-range, I have this Buzz. This is an older run ESP. It's super flexible. I picked this up for like $5 at a tournament one time used, but this thing has been in my bag ever since. I love the feeling of this plastic, and this thing just goes dead straight. So I can rely on this whenever you just need that straight shot. So this is a great disc to have in the bag. On to fairways. So I have a lot of fairways. It's my favorite type of disc to throw, I'd say. So I have a bunch of different options when it comes to fairways and different forms of stability and use. So as far as my most understable, I have this Avenger SS. I use this actually as a roller disc if I ever need to throw a roller or just a really big turnover shot. This is what I'll be reaching for. As far as passions, I have really been enjoying the passion mold. I bag two different protos in my bag right now. I have this one which is a little bit more stable and this one which is more understable. This thing will fly just dead straight as a fairway. It's basically a little less stable version of my beat-in Buzz, just real straight forever. And then this one is a little bit more of that understable, just with a tint of that turn. So this is useful in its own way. I'm a big Mantis fan. So this is one of the old run Mantises. It's super flat. I enjoy the flatness of a disc. And I just love the feeling of this old Z plastic. So if you know of anybody or if you have any more of these, hit me up and I will buy all of them from you. But the Mantis is a really great mold for me. As far as an overstable fairway, I use this Vulture. So this one's semi-overstable. It's an ESP Vulture. I really enjoy the flight of this. I use this in a lot of different situations. I have my Flippy fairway. This one is my Heat. So this is great for just big old turnover shots. I just like the feeling of this in my hand. There's a ton of glide to it. This one I can get to fade out a little bit more at the end if I need to, as opposed to the Avenger SS, which will just turn over. But this one is a super dome, so this thing will just glide for days. I do have two different molds of Undertaker in my bag right now. So I have a Z-Glow Undertaker, the Sparkle, and the ESP. The Sparkle Undertaker is a little bit more beefy, so it's a little bit more overstable. And then I have the ESP version, which is a little bit more understable, but both I've found have been super useful, and I enjoy having both of them in my bag. And then last but not least, I have my Raptors. So I bagged 2 different Raptors right now. So I have the Captain's Raptor, which is this awesome color shift. And then I have a Yuli Raptor as well. I use these actually in a lot of different situations. So I can use these backhand, forehand, overhand a lot of times. But they're super versatile. Obviously this one is a beefcake. This one's a little bit less stable as far as Raptors. So they're both useful, and I enjoy having these ones in my bag. For the drivers, so I have, of course, a Zeus as my fairly overstable driver, and then of the Hades, I absolutely love the Hades mold. These ones, I like the 12-speed in my hand. I think they feel really great and easy to control. I also bag a couple different plastics of thrashers. At any given time, I usually have 2 to 3 in my bag. Right now, I'm bagging ESP and Z thrashers as my understable drivers. They're super handy, and I really enjoy throwing these for some good distance. I also am a huge fan of the Scorch mold, so I have 2 different Scorches in my bag. Shout out to Disc Slinging Dyes. This is the only dye I didn't do myself, but this is what got me addicted to dyeing discs. So I have my ESP Scorch, and then I have my Glow Scorch as well. These are really getting great distance out there, and they feel amazing in my hand. And then I have my nukes. So I have a Nuke SS as my flippy boy. This thing will turn and come back. So if I'm in a field and just need a max distance shot, this is where it's at. And then of course, you always just need a glow nuke in your bag. And then last but not least, I have my putters. So I putt with Fierces. I picked these up, and I've just been enjoying the way that they feel. They come out of my hand clean, they have a great release, and I just enjoy the flight of them as a putter. Of course, I have my Paige Pierce signed one in my bag that everybody makes fun of me for actually using, but that's it. That's my bag for this season. I'm super excited to get started. Thanks for watching me and my crazy animals today. Thanks, guys.